All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of Brazil's most powerful legal tools. We're talking about a law that literally supercharges corporate innovation, turning huge risks into some pretty major financial rewards. Let's dive in.
So, just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, in a single year, companies using what's known as the Leide, or the Good Law, plowed over 9 billion reais into research and development. Yeah, that's billion with a B. This is not some small-time tax credit. It is a massive economic engine.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The government's own official guide calls it, and I'm quoting here, the main instrument for simulating research, development, and innovation activities in Brazilian companies. So yeah, it's safe to say this is the country's #1 tool for pushing technology forward.
Okay, so how does it actually do that? Well, the easiest way to think about the Lei do Bem is that the government is essentially acting as a co-investor in your most ambitious, your most out-there projects. It's built for companies that operate under the lucro real tax system, so we're typically talking about larger businesses. And its whole purpose is to dramatically lower the financial gamble that always comes with real innovation.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because it has this incredible multiplier effect. This isn't just about saving some money. The data shows that for every 1 real a company gets from the incentive, they turn around and invest another 4.5 reals back into R&D. It's like pouring gasoline on the innovation fire.
So, let's get down to brass tacks. What are the actual tangible benefits for a company? Let's break down the core financial perks that are going to directly affect your bottom line.
First up, the headline act, a huge tax deduction. Companies can take an additional deduction of 60% of their R&D expenses. And if you hire more researchers, that can climb all the way up to a whopping 80%. It's a direct reward for building a team that's focused on creating what's next.
Next, the law helps you get the tools you need. It gives you a 50% discount on the IPI, that's Brazil's tax on industrial products, for any new equipment you buy for R&D. This makes it so much cheaper to build out the lab, the workshop, whatever infrastructure you need to innovate.
And on top of that, it's a huge boost for your cash flow. You can claim 100% accelerated depreciation on that new R&D gear. Now what that means is you get to deduct the full cost from your taxes in the same year you buy it. That's immediate cash back in your pocket that you can reinvest right away.
Okay, so you're probably asking, what kind of work actually qualifies for all these amazing benefits? Well, the key thing to wrap your head around is the idea of PD&I. That's research, development, and innovation. And here's a crucial distinction. The law focuses on the activities you perform, not just the final outcome. That's a game changer.
The law actually gives us a really specific definition to work with. Technological innovation is about creating a totally new product or process, or adding new features to an old one that gives you a real, measurable jump in quality or productivity. So it covers everything from huge breakthroughs to those really significant step-by-step improvements.
And these activities are broken down into 3 main stages. You've got directed basic research, which is all about finding new knowledge, but with a specific goal in mind. Then there's applied research. That's where you take existing knowledge and use it to solve a particular problem. And finally, you have experimental development, which is the systematic, hands-on work of proving your new idea is technically possible.
Now, let's talk about the biggest hurdle, the most common pitfall people run into. You absolutely have to understand the line between what counts as eligible R&D and what's just considered routine work, because under this law, not all progress is created equal.
The single most important factor here is technological risk. If your project involves genuine uncertainty, where the solution isn't obvious and success is not a sure thing, that's probably eligible. But if you're just applying well-known methods to make routine changes, that's what's called routine engineering, and it's not going to qualify.
And just to be crystal clear, things like small routine product tweaks or simply adapting a foreign product for the Brazilian market without any real new R&D, even things like standard quality control testing, those are generally not going to make the cut. The focus has to be on solving a new technological problem.
So when you put this all together, you start to see that the Lei do Bem is way more than just a tax break. It's a strategic tool. It's something you can actively use to build a real, sustainable competitive advantage out there in the market.
And maybe the most powerful part of this whole thing is this. The law rewards the journey of innovation, not just the destination. The benefits are tied to your R&D effort, even if the project itself fails in the end. And that's what empowers companies to take those big, ambitious swings, the high-risk, high-reward bets that they might just shy away from otherwise.
So ultimately, by taking so much of that financial risk off the table, the Lei do Bem completely changes the math for R&D, and it leaves every business leader in Brazil with a really powerful question to chew on. With the government basically acting as your co-investor, could your next big, ambitious project also be your most profitable one?